Commander Veltar looked at the empty space on his monitor screen and sighed. 300 years of watching this dead system had made him very bored. The Kepler 442 system was the most boring place in the galaxy. No ships came here. No signals came from here. Nothing ever happened. The tall alien stretched his forearms and walked to the coffee machine. His blue skin looked tired under the bright lights of Nexus Prime monitoring station. This was supposed to be an important job. The Galactic Council said they needed to watch all systems near their space. But this system was just empty planets and dead rocks. Veltar poured his drink and looked out the big window. Stars twinkled in the darkness. Somewhere out there, exciting things were happening. Wars, trade deals, new discoveries. But not here. Never here. His communication officer, a small green creature named Pixta, suddenly made a loud noise. "Commander, something is wrong with the sensors." Veltar put down his drink and hurried to the control center. "What kind of wrong?" "Energy reading, sir. Very big energy reading. Coming from Sector 7. Veltar looked at the screen. Numbers were flashing red. The energy reading was huge. Bigger than anything he had ever seen. "Check the sensors. Maybe they are broken." Pixta pressed many buttons. "Sensors are working fine, sir." Something just appeared in Sector 7. Something very big. Meanwhile, billions of miles away, Captain Kim Dae-ho stood on the bridge of his ship. The UES Indomitable was humanity's greatest achievement. It had taken Earth's best scientists 50 years to build it. The ship was huge, dark, and covered in armor that could stop almost anything. Kim was a tall man with black hair and serious eyes. He had been chosen to command this ship because he was the best captain in Earth's Navy. Today was the most important day in human history. Today, humanity would meet aliens for the first time. "Jump complete, Captain," said his science officer, Dr. Lee So-young. She was a smart woman who knew more about space than anyone else on Earth. "We are now in the target system." Kim nodded and looked at the main screen. Space looked the same as always. Black with tiny stars. But somewhere out there were aliens. Earth's spy satellites had detected alien signals coming from this direction. The signals were weak but clear. Humanity was not alone. "Begin scanning," Kim ordered. "I want to know everything about this system." On Earth, Admiral Park Min-soo sat in a deep underground bunker. The bunker was hidden under a mountain and protected by the strongest shields humanity could build. Banks of computers surrounded him. Each computer showed different information about the Indomitable's mission. Park was an old man with gray hair and many medals on his uniform. He had spent his whole life preparing for this day, the day when humanity would step into the galaxy and meet other intelligent life. "Quantum link is stable," reported Communications Officer Han Ji-woo. She was young but very good at her job. "We have real-time contact with the Indomitable." Park nodded. The quantum communication system was another amazing human invention. It let them talk to the Indomitable instantly, even across many light years of space. "Any word from Captain Kim?" "Not yet, sir. They are still scanning the system." Back on the Indomitable, Dr. Lee So-young studied her instruments. "Captain, I am detecting artificial structures. There is a space station about 2 million kilometers away." Kim felt his heart beat faster. "Alien space station?" "Yes, sir. It appears to be a monitoring station. Very advanced technology." Kim took a deep breath. This was it. First contact with an alien civilization. Everything humanity did in the next few hours would shape their future forever. "Are they scanning us?" "Yes, Captain. Multiple sensor beams are focused on our ship." Kim walked to his command chair and sat down. The chair was surrounded by controls and screens. From here he could control the entire ship. "Open a channel to Earth. Tell Admiral Park we have found them." On Nexus Prime, Commander Veltar stared at his screens in shock. The thing that had appeared was a ship, but it was like no ship he had ever seen. It was massive, bigger than most space stations. Its hull was black and smooth with no visible weapons or engines. But the energy readings were incredible. "What kind of ship is that?" asked Pixta. "I do not know," Veltar replied. His voice was shaking. "Run it through the database. Check all known ship designs." Pixta worked quickly. "No matches, sir. This design is not in any of our records." Veltar felt cold fear creep up his spine. Unknown ships meant unknown enemies. "Signal the fleet. Tell them we have an unidentified vessel in Sector 7. Should I try to contact them?" Veltar thought about it. Standard procedure was to contact unknown ships and demand identification. But this ship was huge and powerful. What if it was hostile? Not yet. Let me think. Captain Kim watched the alien space station on his main screen. It was smaller than his ship but looked very advanced. Strange metal arms stuck out from a central hub. Bright lights moved across its surface. "Captain," said Lieutenant Choi Minho, his weapons officer, "the station is sending signals. They might be calling for help." Kim nodded. He had expected this. "Dr. Lee, are you ready with the first contact message?" Dr. Lee checked her instruments. "Yes, Captain. The message contains basic mathematics, physics principles, and peaceful intentions. It should be understandable to any intelligent species. Send it." The message shot across space at the speed of light. It would take several seconds to reach the alien station. On Earth, Admiral Park received Kim's report. "First contact confirmed," he announced to the room. "The Indomitable has found an alien monitoring station. Captain Kim is attempting communication." The room went very quiet. Every person there knew they were witnessing history. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. Back on Nexus Prime, Veltar received the strange message. "What is this, Pixta?" The small alien studied the transmission. "It appears to be mathematical equations, sir, and some basic physics, but the format is unknown." Veltar felt his four hearts beating fast. This was definitely first contact with an unknown species. "Send this to the Galactic Council immediately. And signal Admiral Kethvar. Tell him to bring ships." "Lots of ships. How many ships, sir?" Veltar looked at the energy readings again. The unknown ship had enough power to destroy a small planet. "All of them. Bring all of them." Captain Kim waited for a response from the aliens. Minutes passed. Then his communication officer spoke up. "Captain, I am detecting multiple ships approaching our position. They are still very far away, but they are moving fast." Kim stood up. "How many ships?" "At least 3, sir. Possibly more." Kim looked at his crew. Every person on the bridge was the best humanity had to offer. They had trained for years for this moment. "Red alert. Prepare for possible hostile contact." The bridge lights dimmed and red warning lights began flashing. The peaceful first contact mission had just become very dangerous. Admiral Kethvar received the emergency message while he was eating his morning meal. The tall, gray-skinned alien dropped his spoon and read the report twice. An unknown ship with impossible energy readings had appeared in the dead sector. Commander Veltar was requesting immediate military support. Kethvar had been in charge of this sector for 40 years. Nothing exciting ever happened here. Pirates sometimes used empty systems to hide, but they always ran when his ships arrived. This sounded different. "Signal the fleet," he told his aide. "I want 3 heavy cruisers ready for immediate departure. Best crews, full weapons." The aide, a young alien with purple skin, nodded quickly. "Should I inform the Galactic Council?" "Not yet. Let us see what we are dealing with first." Captain Zexhai commanded the heavy cruiser Dominant Force. She was a skilled warrior from the hegemony's military elite. Her red eyes and sharp teeth made enemies afraid. When she received Kethvar's orders, she smiled. "Finally, some action." "Set course for Kepler 442, she ordered her crew. "Maximum speed." The 3 heavy cruisers were the pride of the hegemony fleet. Each ship was 800 meters long and armed with enough weapons to destroy a city. They had never lost a battle. On the Indomitable, Captain Kim watched the approaching ships on his tactical display. Dr. Lee So-young worked at her station, trying to learn more about alien technology. "Captain, I am reading their ships now," she reported. "They appear to be military vessels. Heavy armor, lots of weapons." Kim felt worried but not afraid. The Indomitable was built for war. Earth scientists had studied every piece of alien technology they could find. Human weapons were designed to be superior. "Any response to our message?" Kim asked. "Nothing yet, sir." Lieutenant Choi Minho checked his weapon systems. "All green lights." "Captain, should I charge the weapons?" Kim thought carefully. Charging weapons might seem hostile, but not being ready could be deadly. "Charge them, but keep them powered down. I want to be ready but not threatening." On Earth, Admiral Park watched the situation develop. The quantum communication link let him see everything in real time. Han Ji-woo sat at her station, fingers ready to send emergency orders. "Sir, should we tell the president?" Han Ji-woo asked. Park shook his head. "Not yet. Let Captain Kim handle first contact. That is why we chose him." The 3 hegemony ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the Indomitable. Captain Zexhai stared at her main screen in shock. The human ship was enormous, bigger than anything in her fleet. Its dark hull seemed to absorb light. "Signal them," she ordered. Standard identification request. The message reached the Indomitable quickly. Dr. Lee translated it using the mathematical principles from the alien's first transmission. Captain, they want us to identify ourselves and submit to quarantine protocols, she reported. Kim stood up from his command chair. Submit to quarantine? We are not sick. It appears to be standard procedure for unknown ships, sir. Kim looked at the alien ships on his screen. They were much smaller than his ship, but there were 3 of them. Their weapons were pointed at him. Send our response, Kim decided. Tell them we are explorers from Earth. We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations. Dr. Lee prepared the message and sent it. The mathematical language was simple but clear. Captain Zexhai received the human message and felt confused. Earth? She had never heard of any planet called Earth. And these aliens claimed to be explorers, but their ship looked like a warship. Check the database, she told her science officer. Find this planet called Earth. No records found, Captain. No planet called Earth in any of our star charts. Zexhai felt suspicious. Unknown ship, unknown planet, unknown species. This could be a trick. Pirates sometimes use fake identities. Signal them again. Tell them to power down their engines and prepare for boarding inspection. On the Indomitable, Kim received the new message. Dr. Lee looked worried as she translated it. They want to board our ship, Captain. For inspection. Kim felt anger rise in his chest. Board his ship? Like he was a criminal? Send a response. Tell them we decline the inspection. We are peaceful explorers in international space. The message confused Captain Zexhai even more. Decline inspection? No one declined hegemony inspection. It was not possible. Signal Admiral Kethvar, she told her communication officer. Tell him we have a situation. Kethvar received the message while he was reviewing tactical reports. Unknown aliens refusing inspection? This was getting serious. Tell Captain Zexhai to use standard enforcement procedures, he ordered. Disable their engines with minimum force. Then board them. Captain Zexhai smiled when she received the order. Finally, some action. Target their engine section. Prepare pacification beam. Minimum power. The pacification beam was a hegemony standard weapon. It sent energy waves that shut down ship systems without causing permanent damage. It worked on every known ship design. Firing pacification beam, reported the weapons officer. The blue energy beam shot across space and hit the Indomitable's rear section. Captain Kim felt his ship shake slightly. Damage report. He called out. Chief Engineer Yoon Tae-min checked his systems. No damage, Captain. Their energy beam was absorbed by our shields. No effect on any systems. Kim stared at the engineering report. The alien weapon had done nothing. Earth's shield technology was completely superior. On the hegemony ship, the weapons officer looked confused. Captain, our beam had no effect. Their shields absorbed everything. Captain Zexhai felt cold fear. The pacification beam worked on every ship. Every ship except this one, increased power. Full pacification beam. The second beam was much stronger. It hit the Indomitable with enough energy to disable a battle cruiser. Again, the human ship was completely unaffected. Captain Kim realized the aliens were trying to disable his ship. This was not peaceful first contact. This was an attack, Lieutenant Choi, he said quietly. Prepare to return fire. Single warning shot. Minimum power. Choi's hands moved over his controls. Weapons ready, Captain. Fire. The Indomitable's plasma cannon fired once. A bright red beam shot across space much faster than the alien weapon. It hit the leading hegemony ship and tore through its shields like they were made of paper. The beam burned a hole completely through the ship's hull. Captain Zexhai watched in horror as her forward section exploded. Atmosphere rushed out into space. Emergency alarms screamed throughout her ship. Damage report, she shouted. Forward hull breach.
Shields down!
Weapons offline, her engineer reported. One shot. The unknown aliens had crippled her ship with one shot. On the Indomitable, Kim immediately opened a communication channel. Alien vessels, this is Captain Kim of the Earth ship Indomitable. We fired a warning shot only. We do not wish to fight. Please respond. Captain Zexhai stared at her damaged ship. A warning shot? If that was a warning shot, what could their full weapons do? Signal the other ships, she ordered. Tell them to retreat to safe distance. But the other 2 hegemony captains were angry. No one had ever damaged a hegemony ship and survived. They moved forward, weapons charging, Captain, Dr. Lee reported. The other 2 ships are preparing to attack. I am reading massive energy buildup, Kim sighed. He had tried to be peaceful, All hands prepare for combat. Lieutenant Choi, you are authorized to defend this ship. The two hegemony ships fired everything they had. Particle beams, missile swarms, plasma torpedoes. Enough firepower to destroy a small moon rushed toward the Indomitable. The human ship's point defense systems activated automatically. Laser turrets shot down incoming missiles. Energy shields deflected particle beams. The plasma torpedoes exploded harmlessly against the hull armor. No damage, reported Chief Engineer Yoon Tae-min. All systems normal, Kim nodded. Return fire. Disable their weapons only. The Indomitable's main guns fired twice. 2 precise shots hit the alien ship's weapon sections. Both ships lost their ability to fight in seconds. Captain HFY watched the battle end almost before it began. 3 hegemony heavy cruisers defeated by 1 unknown ship. It was impossible. Signal retreat, she ordered. Get us out of here. The 3 damaged alien ships limped away as fast as they could. Captain Kim let them go. On Earth, Admiral Park had watched the entire battle. Send a message to the President, he told Han Ji-woo. Tell her that first contact was successful. But we may have a problem. Admiral Kethvar stood in his command center and stared at the damage reports. 3 heavy cruisers, the pride of his fleet, had been defeated by 1 unknown ship. Captain HFY's report was almost impossible to believe. You are certain about these details? He asked her over the communication link. HFY's face appeared on the screen. Her red eyes were filled with fear. Yes, Admiral. 1 shot disabled my ship. Their shields stopped our strongest weapons like they were toys. Kethvar felt his stomach twist. In 40 years of military service, he had never heard of such advanced technology. What is your tactical assessment? Unknown ship has superior technology in all areas. Recommend immediate withdrawal and diplomatic contact. Kethvar thought about this advice. But he was a military leader. Retreat was not in his nature. Negative. Maintain observation distance. I am coming with reinforcements. Captain Kim stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and watched the alien ships maintain their distance. Dr. Lee So-young worked at her science station, trying to understand alien technology. Captain, I have analyzed their weapons and shields, she reported. Their technology is approximately 50 years behind ours in most areas. Kim felt surprised. Earth scientists had always assumed aliens would be more advanced. Are you certain? Yes, sir. Their energy weapons are crude compared to our plasma systems. Their shields use old-style deflector technology. We stopped using that design 20 years ago. Lieutenant Choi Min-ho looked up from his tactical station. Captain, I am detecting more ships approaching. Many more ships. Kim walked to the tactical display. Red dots appeared on the screen showing incoming vessels. How many? 15 ships, sir. Much larger than the first group. Kim felt his heart beat faster. 15 ships was a small fleet. This was becoming a major military engagement. Signal Earth. Tell Admiral Park we have a situation. On Earth, Admiral Park received Kim's message while meeting with President Kang Soo-jin. The president was a small woman with gray hair and intelligent eyes. She had been chosen to lead Earth because she was calm in difficult situations. 15 ships? The president asked. Are they hostile? Unknown, Madam President. Captain Kim is trying to establish peaceful contact. Defense Minister Lim Jae-sung looked worried. Admiral, can the Indomitable handle 15 enemy ships? Park studied the tactical data. In theory, yes. Our simulations show 1 Indomitable-class ship can defeat 20 alien vessels of comparable technology. But we have never tested this in real combat. Admiral Kethvar arrived with his battle fleet 2 hours later. 15 ships, including his flagship, the Destroyer of Worlds. The massive battleship was 2 kilometers long and armed with the most powerful weapons in the hegemony arsenal. Signal the unknown vessel, Kethvar ordered. Tell them they are surrounded. Demand immediate surrender. His communication officer, a thin alien with blue skin, sent the message. The mathematical language was simple and clear. On the Indomitable, Dr. Lee translated the alien message. Captain, they are demanding our surrender. They say we are surrounded and outgunned. Kim looked at his tactical display. 15 alien ships had formed a circle around his vessel. They were all pointing weapons at him. Send a response. Tell them we are peaceful explorers. We have no intention of surrendering to anyone. The message reached Admiral Kethvar quickly. He felt angry at the response. No one refused hegemony demands ever. Open fire, he ordered. All ships full attack. Destroy them. 15 alien warships fired at once. The space around the Indomitable filled with energy beams, missiles, and plasma torpedoes. It was enough firepower to destroy a small city. Captain Kim watched the incoming attack on his tactical screen. All hands brace for impact. Engineering maximum power to shields. Chief Engineer Yoon Tae-min sat in the engineering section deep inside the ship. Banks of computers surrounded him. Each computer controlled different ship systems. Shields at maximum power, he reported. Point defense systems online. The alien attack hit the Indomitable like a storm. Energy beams struck the shields and scattered harmlessly. Missiles exploded against the hull armor without causing damage. The ship's laser turrets shot down incoming torpedoes with perfect accuracy. Damage report, Kim called out. No damage, Captain, reported Yoon Tae-min. Shields down to 95%. All systems normal, Kim felt amazed. The attack that could destroy a city had barely scratched his ship's shields. Admiral Kethvar stared at his tactical display in shock. What happened? Did we miss? No, sir, his tactical officer replied. All weapons hit the target. No effect, impossible. Nothing can survive that much firepower. On the Indomitable, Kim made a difficult decision. The aliens had attacked twice. They clearly did not want peace. It was time to show them the consequences of their actions. Lieutenant Choi, target the nearest enemy ship. Single shot, low power. Choi's hands moved over his controls. Target locked, Captain. Fire. The Indomitable's main plasma cannon fired once. The red energy beam crossed space in less than a second. It hit an alien cruiser in the center and burned completely through the ship. The cruiser broke in half and exploded. Admiral Kethvar watched one of his ships die in horror. How is this possible? Before anyone could answer, the unknown ship fired again. Another alien vessel exploded, then another. All ships, evasive action, Kethvar shouted. Random patterns. But the alien ship's weapons were too accurate. Every shot hit its target perfectly. In 5 minutes, half of Kethvar's fleet was destroyed or disabled. Captain Kim felt sick watching the destruction. He had not wanted this fight. Cease fire. Open a communication channel. Dr. Lee sent a message to the alien fleet. Alien vessels, this is Captain Kim of Earth. We do not wish to destroy you. Please stop attacking us. Admiral Kethvar received the message while watching his flagship take damage from the human weapons. His proud fleet was being destroyed by one ship. Signal retreat, he ordered. All ships withdraw immediately. Sir, what about our damaged ships? Asked his tactical officer. Kethvar looked at the tactical display. 6 ships were dead in space. Their crews needed rescue. But staying meant more destruction. Leave them. We will send rescue ships later. The remaining alien ships fled as fast as they could. Captain Kim let them go. On the Indomitable, tactical officer Shin Hee-jin studied the battle data. Captain, we used less than 10% of our maximum firepower. The alien ships are much weaker than expected. Kim nodded slowly. Earth had built the Indomitable to fight enemies as advanced as humanity. Instead, they had found aliens with primitive technology. Dr. Lee, any explanation for their weakness? Lee looked at her analysis. Their technology appears to be very old, Captain. I think their civilization stopped advancing hundreds of years ago. On Earth, Admiral Park watched the battle end. President Kang looked pale but determined. Admiral, what happens now? She asked. Now we wait, Madam President. The aliens know we are superior. They will either try diplomacy or call for more ships. Defense Minister Lim asked the important question. How many more ships do they have? Park studied the intelligence reports. Unknown. But based on their technology level, we could be facing hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. President Kang stood up and walked to the big window. Outside, the lights of Seoul twinkled in the darkness. Then we had better prepare for war. Captain Kim sent his report to Earth while the crew repaired minor damage. First engagement successful. Enemy fleet retreated, awaiting orders. He looked out at the stars and wondered how many alien ships were coming. The Indomitable was powerful, but it was only one ship. Humanity would need to be very smart to survive what was coming next. High Counselor Vex Thran called an emergency meeting of the Galactic Council. The ancient alien was over 400 years old and had seen many crises. But nothing like this. Representatives from dozens of species gathered in the Great Council chamber. The room was enormous with seats for 500 delegates. Each species had different shapes, colors, and sizes, but today they all shared the same emotion. Fear. Admiral Kethvar will present his report, Vex Thran announced. Kethavar stood at the center of the chamber. His gray skin looked pale under the bright lights. Honored counselors, 3 days ago we encountered an unknown species. Their technology is far beyond anything in our databases. A delegate from the Zephyrian Empire raised her tentacle. How far beyond? One ship destroyed half my fleet. 15 heavy warships defeated by one enemy vessel. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Delegates whispered to each other in dozens of languages. The Galactic Council had not seen such advanced technology in centuries. What are their demands? Asked the representative from the Crystal Worlds. They claim to be peaceful explorers. But their ship is clearly a warship of incredible power. High Counselor Vexthran raised his hand for silence. Where did they come from? They call their world Earth. We have no records of this planet. On Earth, President Kang Soo-jin sat in the secure conference room deep under Seoul. Admiral Park Min-soo and Defense Minister Lim Jae-sung sat across from her. Large screens showed pictures of the alien fleet that Captain Kim had defeated. How long before they send more ships? President Kang asked. Admiral Park studied the tactical data. Unknown, Madam President, but we must assume they are preparing a much larger force. How large? The galaxy has been united under this hegemony for centuries. They could have thousands of ships, maybe tens of thousands. President Kang felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Every decision she made could determine humanity's survival. What are our options? Defense Minister Lim opened a folder filled with classified reports. We have 3 choices. First, we could recall the Indomitable and prepare Earth's defenses. Second, we could try to negotiate with this Galactic Council. Third, we could take offensive action. Offensive action against thousands of ships? We have advantages they do not expect, Madam President. Our technology is superior. Our tactics are better. And we have something they have lost. What is that? The will to fight for our freedom. Captain Kim stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and watched empty space. 3 days had passed since the battle. His crew was ready for whatever came next. Sensor specialist Oh Seung-woo sat at his station, monitoring space for any signs of enemy ships. His instruments could detect ships many light years away. Captain, I am picking up massive energy signatures, many ships approaching from multiple directions. Kim felt his stomach tighten. How many ships? At least 500, sir. Possibly more. They are coming from 6 different directions. Dr. Lee So-young looked up from her science station. Captain, this appears to be the largest fleet movement in recorded galactic history. Kim walked to his command chair and sat down. 500 ships against 1. The odds were impossible. But the Indomitable was not just any ship. Send a message to Earth. Tell Admiral Park we have contact with a massive enemy fleet. On Earth, Admiral Park received Kim's message while reviewing battle plans. The numbers were staggering. 500 alien ships approaching from all directions. Signal the President, he told Han Ji-woo. Emergency meeting in 5 minutes. President Kang arrived at the command center quickly. She read the report while still putting on her jacket. 500 ships? Can the Indomitable survive? In theory, yes, Park replied. Our war simulations show one Indomitable-class ship can defeat up to 1,000 enemy vessels. But those were just computer predictions. What if the simulations are wrong? Park looked at the President with serious eyes. Then humanity's first voyage to the stars will also be our last. Admiral Vextaron commanded the greatest fleet in galactic history. The massive alien was 3 meters tall with thick armor-like skin. He had won every battle he had ever fought. His flagship, the Galaxy's Wrath, was 5 kilometers long and carried enough weapons to destroy a planet. Around him flew 499 other ships from dozens of species. It was the combined military might of half the galaxy. Signal the unknown vessel, he ordered. Tell them they are surrounded by 500 warships. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. The message reached the Indomitable within minutes. Dr. Lee translated it for Captain Kim. They want us to surrender, Captain. They say resistance is impossible. Kim looked at his crew. Every person on the bridge was humanity's best. They had trained their whole lives for this moment. Send our response. Tell them we are peaceful explorers from Earth. We offer diplomatic relations and mutual respect. We will not surrender to anyone. Admiral Vextaron received the human response with anger. No one had ever refused his demands. His reputation was built on absolute victory. These humans think they are special because they won one small battle. Show them the power of the galaxy. All ships open fire. 500 alien warships fired at once. The space around the Indomitable became a storm of energy beams, missiles, and plasma weapons. It was enough destruction to crack a planet's surface. Captain Kim watched the attack approach on his tactical screen. All hands prepare for maximum defensive action. Engineering emergency power to shields. Chief Engineer Yoon Tae-min pushed the ship's systems beyond their normal limits. Shields at 110% power. Point defense at maximum. The alien attack hit the Indomitable like a hurricane. Thousands of weapons struck the ship's shields and armor. The bridge shook as energy cascaded around the hull. Damage report, Kim called out. Shields down to 60%, Yoon reported. Hull armor holding. All systems operational, Kim felt amazed. 500 ships had barely damaged his vessel. Human technology was even more superior than anyone had imagined. Admiral Vex Terran stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Status of the enemy ship? Still active, sir. No significant damage detected. Impossible. Nothing can survive that much firepower. Should we fire again, sir? Vex Terran thought about his options. 500 ships had failed to destroy one enemy vessel. What did that say about galactic military power? Yes, all ships, continuous fire. Do not stop until that ship is destroyed. The alien fleet began a sustained attack. Wave after wave of weapons struck the Indomitable. For 30 minutes, the ship endured constant bombardment. Captain Kim watched his shields slowly weaken under the endless assault. At this rate, they would eventually fail. Lieutenant Choi, prepare our main weapon. Choi Minho looked up from his station. Which weapon, Captain? The gravitational cannon. Full power. Dr. Lee turned around quickly. Captain, we have never tested that weapon in combat. The effects could be unpredictable, Kim nodded. But we need to end this battle quickly. Our shields cannot take much more. The gravitational cannon was humanity's most advanced weapon. It created artificial gravity fields that could crush anything within range. Target the center of their formation, Kim ordered. Maximum power. Weapon charged and ready, Captain. Fire. The gravitational cannon fired invisible waves of twisted space-time. Admiral Vex Terran watched in horror as 50 ships in the center of his formation suddenly crushed like tin cans. The artificial gravity field compressed them into tiny balls of metal. What kind of weapon is that? He screamed. Before anyone could answer, the human ship fired again. Another 50 alien vessels were destroyed instantly. All ships, retreat, Vex Terran ordered. Emergency withdrawal. The massive alien fleet scattered in all directions. Ships fled as fast as their engines could carry them. Captain Kim watched the enemy retreat and felt both relieved and sad. He had not wanted to destroy so many ships, but they had given him no choice. Send a message to the fleeing ships, he ordered. Tell them Earth offers peace to all who want it. On Earth, Admiral Park watched the battle end with amazement. One human ship had defeated 500 alien vessels. President Kang stood beside him, staring at the tactical display. Admiral, I think the galaxy is about to learn something important about humanity. What is that, Madam President? We do not start fights, but we always finish them. Admiral Vex Terran sat in his command chair and stared at the damage reports. Half his fleet was gone, 50 ships destroyed in seconds by weapons he did not understand. The remaining ships were scattered across 3 star systems. High Counselor Vex Thran's face appeared on the communication screen. The ancient alien looked older than ever. Admiral, report your status. Vex Terran felt shame burn in his chest. The attack failed, High Counselor. The human ship proved immune to our weapons. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. That is impossible. We are the masters of this galaxy. Not anymore. Captain Kim stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and watched the alien ships regroup in the distance. Dr. Lee So-young worked at her science station, monitoring their communications. Captain, I am detecting massive communication traffic between the alien ships and their home systems. They appear to be calling for reinforcements. Kim nodded. He had expected this. How many reinforcements? Unknown, sir. But the communication volume suggests they are mobilizing everything they have. Lieutenant Choi Minho looked up from his tactical station. Captain, should we attack while they are scattered? Kim thought about this option. The alien fleet was weak and disorganized. He could probably destroy most of them easily, but that would mean more killing. No, we came here in peace. We will maintain peaceful intentions unless they force us to fight. Engineering Officer Bae Yoon-seo worked deep in the ship's engine room. She was humanity's expert on quantum drive technology. The massive engines that powered the Indomitable were her creation. "Captain," she called over the communication system, "I have been analyzing our quantum drive performance. I think I can create a space-time distortion large enough to affect multiple ships." Kim felt interested. "What kind of effect?" "We could scatter their entire fleet across several light years. It would disable them without destroying them." "How dangerous is this procedure?" "For us, not very dangerous for them. Their ships might suffer system failures, but most crews should survive." Kim made his decision. "Prepare the distortion field, but do not activate it unless they attack again." On Earth, President Kang Soo-jin met with her military advisors in the deep bunker. The news from space was both good and bad. Good because the Indomitable was winning. Bad because the aliens kept sending more ships. "How long can Captain Kim hold out?" she asked Admiral Park. "Indefinitely, Madam President. As long as his ship remains functional, he can defeat any number of enemy vessels." Defense Minister Lim looked worried. "But what happens when he needs to return for supplies? Or if his ship suffers mechanical problems?" "That is why we need to end this quickly," President Kang decided. "Admiral, how many more Indomitable-class ships are under construction?" 12 ships will be ready within 6 months. 20 more within 2 years. Not fast enough. What can we do now?" Admiral Park pulled up classified files on his computer. "We have one option, but it is very risky." "Explain." "We reveal our full capabilities to the galaxy, show them that the Indomitable is not unique, make them understand that fighting humanity is impossible." President Kang thought about this idea. It would end the war quickly, but it would also make humanity's enemies even more afraid. "Do it." Dr. Lee So-young prepared humanity's message to the galaxy. It would be broadcast on all communication frequencies in every known alien language. "Captain, the message is ready," she reported. Kim looked at the text on his screen. It was simple but powerful. "Send it." The message went out across the galaxy at light speed. Within hours, every alien civilization would know the truth about humanity. Admiral Vex Terran received the human message while trying to reorganize his scattered fleet. He read it twice, then called an emergency meeting with his senior officers. "This cannot be true," said his tactical officer. "Read it again," Vex Terran ordered. The message was short. "To all civilizations of the galaxy, this is Captain Kim Dae-ho of the Earth Defense Force. The ship you have encountered is designated UES Indomitable, hull number 001. It is the first of 50 planned vessels of this class. 12 more ships are currently under construction. We offer peace to all who desire it. We offer protection to all who need it. We offer destruction to all who threaten innocent life. Choose wisely." 50 ships like this one?" whispered the tactical officer. 50 ships that can each defeat 1,000 of ours," Vex Terran replied. High Counselor Vex Thran called another emergency session of the Galactic Council. The chamber was packed with representatives from every known species. Fear filled the air like smoke. "The humans have revealed their military capabilities," Vex Thran announced. "They possess 50 ships of superior technology." A delegate from the Insectoid Collective raised her claw. "What do they want?" "Peace, apparently. But peace on their terms, what choice do we have?" asked the representative from the machine worlds. "Our combined fleets cannot defeat one of their ships. We could surrender," suggested the delegate from the Peaceful Traders Union. "Or we could join them," said another voice. The chamber erupted in arguments. Some species wanted to fight to the end. Others wanted to negotiate. A few wanted to switch sides immediately. Captain Kim received reports of chaos throughout the galaxy. Some alien governments were calling for peace talks. Others were preparing for total war. A few species had already sent messages offering alliance with Earth. "Captain," Dr. Lee reported, "I am detecting another large fleet approaching. But this one is different. Different how?" "Mixed species. Ships from at least 20 different civilizations. And they are broadcasting peaceful intentions." Kim felt hopeful. Maybe the message was working. Admiral Kethvar commanded the new fleet. But this time he came not as an enemy, but as a potential ally. His orders from the Galactic Council were clear. Negotiate with the humans at any cost. Signal the human ship, he ordered. Request permission to approach for diplomatic talks. The message reached the Indomitable quickly. Kim read it with relief. Grant permission, but tell them to approach slowly with weapons powered down. Kethvar's ship approached the Indomitable carefully. Up close, the human vessel was even more impressive. Its dark hull seemed to absorb starlight. No visible weapons, but readings showed incredible power. This is Admiral HFY of the Galactic Hegemony. I request permission to come aboard for negotiations. Kim thought about it. Allowing aliens on his ship was risky, but it might be the path to peace. Permission granted. You may bring 2 aides. No weapons. The alien shuttle docked with the Indomitable 20 minutes later. Kim met the 3 aliens in the main hangar bay. They were tall, gray-skinned beings with 4 arms each. "Welcome aboard," Kim said through a translation device. Admiral HFY looked around the hangar with amazement. The technology was incredible. Clean, efficient, and powerful. "Captain Kim, I bring greetings from the Galactic Council. We wish to discuss terms for peace." "And what terms?" Kim asked. "Mutual recognition of sovereignty. Trade agreements. Non-aggression pacts." Kim smiled. "Those sound like reasonable starting points." On Earth, President Kang received news of the peace talks with great relief. The war might be ending before it really began. "Admiral Park, prepare a diplomatic team. I want our best negotiators ready to travel to space." "Yes, Madam President. Should we also prepare the other ships?" "Continue construction. But I want them equipped for exploration, not just war. It is time for humanity to take its place in the galaxy." Captain Kim walked Admiral HFY to the observation deck. Through the large windows, they could see the alien fleet maintaining a respectful distance. "Admiral, may I ask you a question?" Kim said. "Of course. Why did your people attack us first?" "We offered peaceful contact." HFY looked embarrassed. "Fear, Captain. We have ruled this galaxy for centuries. We assumed all unknown ships were threats, and now we know that humanity is either our greatest ally or our greatest enemy. We choose ally." Kim looked out at the stars. Somewhere among them was Earth, where humanity was preparing for its future among the stars. "Admiral, humanity has a saying. We judge others not by their past mistakes, but by their willingness to learn from them." "Wise words. Captain, the galaxy is big enough for all of us, but there will be rules. No more attacking first and asking questions later. No more bullying smaller species, and no more wars of conquest." Admiral HFY nodded slowly. "These terms are acceptable. But what if some species refuse to follow these rules?" Captain Kim smiled, but his eyes were hard as steel. "Then they will learn why the galaxy calls us the greatest terror. We protect those who cannot protect themselves." The peace talks continued for 3 days. When they ended, the galaxy had changed forever. Humanity was no longer an unknown species. They were the new guardians of galactic peace. And everyone knew that Earth's children kept their promises.